Welcome everybody to the Brother Speak podcast. This is Brother Speak. If this is your first time listening to me, thank you. I much appreciate it. Like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Bro Speak podcast. I'm also streaming live on Facebook for the first time, facebook.com/Bro Speak. So if you're inclined, you can check my audio podcast, the Bro Speak podcast, which is also on Anchor, anchor.com/Bro Speak. I have two episodes up there: The War on Black People Created by Black People and The Pro Black Woman, Black Male. So check it out. And if you want to leave me any comments, you can leave me comments here, or you have any suggestions for other shows that I could do, hit me up on Instagram, Bro Speak, and Facebook. So today I wanted to talk about Renegade One, the guy that just passed away. He was a YouTuber. Now, to be fair to anybody, I didn't know about this YouTuber until BMT Business Minded Talk. He did a panel yesterday about him, and hearing BMT talk about him, it kind of it resonated with me a bit. And so I decided to go on his YouTube channel and look at some of the videos, some of the video titles. And so I looked at it and I was thinking to myself, this guy had nearly 3.4 thousand followers. I mean, well, subscribers. And yet no one tried to help this guy. Nobody reached out to him. Maybe I'm kind of lost at that. He had all these subscribers and nobody tried to talk to him or anything. Maybe I'm just a little confused on that. And sorry about that, little technical difficulties there. Um, yeah, I guess it just bothered me that nobody reached out to him, maybe talked to him. You know, I looked in the comments of some of his videos, and they were cheering him on. He was the voice of the people. He's doing his thing. But meanwhile, it seemed like this guy was suffering. I think back to the last video that he made about the Sigma male, talking about being alone and doing your own thing and not worrying about the outside world. But it just seemed like the longer he delved into that, it seemed like he just didn't want to be part of the world anymore. And you would think there would have been someone to kind of reach out to him to keep him from going over the edge and doing what he did. And he had all these subscribers, but it's like after he did what he did, now people are saying need to get help or something like that. Now, so it kind of bothers me that nobody did anything. Nobody said anything. Maybe somebody did. Maybe I didn't look at all the videos to really see if somebody was in there trying to talk to him, and maybe he just didn't listen. Maybe he didn't hear it. But I do see this a lot. I see people who you can really tell they kind of defeated. They kind of lost their way. And you got people who fans of his, they're cheering him on, but nobody seems to be going to him and really trying to help him out. Now, maybe I'm just looking at it from my viewpoint, and maybe there were that people that were. I could be wrong. And if you were one of those people who did try to talk to him, please leave a comment in the comment section. But I wanted to address this a bit because he was only 25. And I could understand the feelings that he felt because I was there at 22. From the age of 20 to 22 was one of the loneliest times of my life. And I felt the way that he felt, alone, didn't want to talk to nobody, was very, I would say, antisocial. Felt like everybody was against me. Um, even as I was in a room full of people, I really didn't feel like I was with anybody because I was so different. Especially in the black community, you kind of you have to be the social butterfly, whether you're a man or a woman, and if you're not, people don't know what to do with you. Yeah, they'll try to talk to you for a bit, but then they move on. So it's kind of hard to fit in, and particularly in the black community. Also, kind of in society as well. I mean, especially back then, there weren't many guys like that around, and especially when you go into a college where it's built on being, it's a social environment. If you're not a social person, that can really put you at a disadvantage. I remember joining a black sorority. Well, it wasn't a sorority; it's more of a club. But we would have the meetings and go do things. But it just felt like I was still alone. We'd go to the parties, and you know, I tried to be a little sociable, but it didn't feel natural. And so, people talk to you, say hi, be polite, but then it's just like that's that. Nobody wanted to dive deeper. And so And it's like you want to be social, but then it's like something holding you back. Insecurity, anxiousness, some of it's just not feeling the conversation. And so now you're by yourself in a group of people, and it's like no one understands you. And that can do two things. It can make you angry at the world and take it out of the world, or it can make it internal. And now you're angry at yourself, you're bitter at the world, but you don't want to take it out on the world because you're kind of scared of the consequences of doing that. So you make it internal. Now this depression sets in, this internal hatred of yourself, and just you're lonely, and and you want somebody to care, but then you don't know how to reach out to them. So you just close yourself off. Now, I didn't have YouTube back then. I don't think, trying to think if YouTube was even around back then. I don't think it came back till about 2008 or something like that. Because this was back in 2000 to 2002. So I don't think YouTube was around. I know Planet was still around. But even there, I felt alone too. So, and I even thought of suicide at one time, and but there was that fear of death that kept me from even attempting it. And, partly was what would happen to my mother, what would happen, just just what would happen in general that kept me from doing it. Now, eventually, I did get out of it. Um, I had a reason to get out of it was my health. My blood pressure was sky high, and I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired. So I decided to go to the gym, and that helped. And I end up meeting someone, one of my friends at the time. We're not friends anymore, but I end up meeting him, and he kind of like was able to understand me, get me, and I was able to talk to him. And we shared the same love for games, and we just kind of different. Now he was more sociable in certain areas than I was, and I kind of latched on to him. Now that guy, he always had a knack for getting with the rejects, and so that kind of got me out of my shell a bit. I mean, he was the first one to ever take me to a damn strip club. Like, I never even been to a strip club, never thought about going to one till he came along. So did that, and then I ended up meeting one of my best friends from college, and and I started getting with him, and then that ultimately led to me meeting my ex-wife. So so that's kind of how I got out of that, because otherwise I would have been one of these incels, one of these shut-ins and something like that. And I would have went down the path of this guy. Matter of fact, I was on that path. And I didn't have YouTube or something like that to voice my frustrations and anger and then have fans to agree with me in sharing my pain, but they sharing in my pain, but they're not helping me through my pain. Ultimately, I did get over it. And, you know, while I am still reserved, I know it's kind of different to see from me being on YouTube, but I'm really kind of a reserved person. You know, it takes me a while to get to know people and conversate. I tend to just watch people for a while and then decide. Surprisingly, some people just come to me and just be talking to me. I'm like, that's how I get most of my friends. I don't know. I don't just go up to people. They just come to me. And, the people that I meet, some of them were bad, a lot of them were good. And, and that's how you build friendship like that. But for Mr. Renegade, I just wonder, like he had all these subscribers, but yet he still felt this loneliness. He wanted to be by himself, and he embraced the ugliness. Now, let me show myself a bit. Well, actually, uh, let me be neat first, yeah, before I do that. So, y'all see what I look like. This ain't the first time. So, I'm not the most attractive in the world. Probably somebody probably say that. But I was looking at him. I'm like, the dude is not ugly, but yet he felt ugly. It's like he felt unworthy to be in the presence of women or something like that. And that one was crazy to me. So maybe I don't know. Maybe the women that he dealt with just rejected him so much that he just embraced. And like you say, he embraced being ugly. And I'm like, dude, you think about that, dude. You're not ugly. Now I know I'm not a handsome individual, but I still wouldn't be like embrace the ugliness in the sense of that way. You take it to a dark turn. I just look at it like I know I'm not going to be the first pick, so why even uh, pretend like I'm going to be? But it was just, it was just something that was bothering me about it. It's like he took the black pill, but he took it in a wrong term. Now he was saying that it was liberating, but it seemed like it was a prison to him. At least to me. Maybe I'm wrong in my thinking about this, but it just seemed like it was a prison. And then you have fans celebrating this view and cheering him on, and it's like even if he wanted to change, he now has his following, so he has to keep this facade. And maybe it was a little too much. Maybe he wanted to change, but he couldn't because these fans were around. They looking up to him. Maybe he just got tired. Maybe he couldn't reach out for help because he didn't want to let them people down. But there's a problem. You stay in this darkness, and eventually it consumes you. I was thinking back to Chester Bennington of Lincoln Park. You know, he had probably way more fans than this guy had, but yet he still had those demons. People cheering him, celebrating him, saying that he helped them with their pain, but in turn, they couldn't help him. One of the songs that was really powerful, Nobody Can Save Me Now. If you listen to that song, he's really saying that just nobody can save him but himself. And in the end, he couldn't even save himself. And I think this is with this guy. Nobody can save him but himself, but he didn't want to be saved, which is tragic. You know, I guess I was fortunate that I didn't go, even though I was in that dark place, I was not to that edge, even though I did have the thoughts of suicide. I had thoughts of ending it all, but I just couldn't go through with it. Of course, now I don't think like that. I don't um have those thoughts because at the end of the day, I still want to live. But it's just sad that a guy that young just felt that life was over. And I but I get why. But I get why. 'Cause you come from a childhood like mine where you was bullied a lot, and you know it wasn't stable. I mean, I'll be fair. It could have been worse, but it could have been better. So I kind of, without knowing his family situation, probably need to go look at the videos for that. Maybe he did talk about it, but I can about imagine it wasn't as happy as it should have been, because to be to think that it was time to end it all at 25 when you haven't even lived your best life yet. It's very sad. And the fact that he had fans and they couldn't even pull him out of that is very troubling. But then I think about the fact that these fans looked up to the way he was then, and it was saddening that he had all those fans and they couldn't get him over that. So it kind of makes you wonder what is good about having a YouTube channel. What is good on getting on YouTube if you can't get the help that you need? What's good having these subscribers if you can't, if you're an influence on them, but they can't be an influence on you? What is good that if they keep you on a level and you cannot grow? Because I've seen these subscribers cheer people being dysfunctional. I've seen fans cheer people where you could clearly tell that they're out of pocket. That you could tell that something's just wrong, something's just not right. And people are cheering their thought process. And even though you know that it's not quite right in the head, that people still cheering these thought processes. I'm looking at the video and people are cheering this, and I'm looking at this is just, it sounds like a cry for help. It seemed like nobody was trying. Again, it's to share the pain, but it's not a sharing the pain to get over something. It's a sharing the pain to stay in that pain bubble. And for some, it's to lash out at others who they feel they've wronged us. I've seen another guy, another YouTuber, who was really raging against the Black Manosphere and Kevin Samuels. But when I listened to him talk about his relationships, talk about his just idolization of the white man, I'm looking at a guy who's defeated. I'm looking at a guy who's mentally conquered, not just by women, but by white men, by this white society. Now, this is not a knock on white people, but I'm just trying to send you this picture of how a guy can be. He's saying all these things that people want him to say against a certain group, like the Black Manosphere. But deep inside, you see this person is suffering, and nobody's doing anything. They're cheering him on. They're saying that he's a man, but really he's defeated. Now go back to Renegade 1. You see a guy who's defeated. You see a guy who's suffering, but there's people cheering him on. And nobody's trying to talk to this person, at least not in the comment section that I was seeing. Nobody's saying, hey, let me talk to you. Hey, Let me speak to you, brother. It just seems to me that this is indicative of this space is that we see people who are suffering. We see people who exhibit depression, exhibit just brokenness. We just don't seem to care. If they're talking about something that we rally against, like someone saying we hate the black manosphere, it's a bunch of goddamn queers. They're a hate group. They hate black women. They hate black children. We're okay with that. But if but they're on some bullshit, and you see they're mentally unstable, or they done some shit in the past, we just tend to ignore it. We see him treat the very people that he said that he loves like shit. We tend to ignore it. I guess it's the price of doing business, right? You got this guy, Renegade One, who was suffering, but long as he said the message that we want him to say, it was all right. And then when he does the unthinkable, takes his life, now we want to say he should have spoke up and asked for help. My thing is, where was these people when they see this person suffering? Where were they? Where were these subscribers? And I can't say that I'm not in. I can't say that I'm innocent in this too, but because I've seen some people who just gone left, and I didn't say nothing either. I see guys who raging against the manosphere, and but you can see the dysfunction in them. I see the guys who's raging against black women, but you can see the dysfunction. You can see the fact that they're not right, but nobody gives a fuck because as long as he's going against our enemies, it's okay. Just another soldier that's expendable. And then all of a sudden now we care. What's good of these subscribers if they can't help the person they're subscribed to? What's good is YouTube if it doesn't help you heal from your pain? What's good at having a YouTube channel and meeting all these people, getting on these live streams, talking to these people, and it doesn't help you in the end? Now, I don't want to put this all on the subscribers. Everybody have their own lives. Because at the end of the day, the person has to ask for help. The person has to get out of the ego and get out of this serving of his fans and actually ask one of them maybe for help, maybe hook you up with someone. But I will say to people who you're the subscribers, if you see this person out of pocket, if you see this person just going on the deep end, try to reach out. Try to talk to this person. Offer them a hand. Maybe just offer an ear. At least try. Can't say it'll work for everybody. Some people are just too far gone. But then there's some people who you might can reach. Because Renegade One wasn't the first YouTuber to commit suicide. And I guarantee you he won't be the last. And it especially kind of hurts because I understand the mind frame that he was in. I was just fortunate that there was something, now I can honestly say it was fear, that kept me from going to that point. And luckily, I met people that kind of brought me out of my shell. They didn't try to change me, but they tried to break me out of my shell. And it worked. New experiences made me want to live life. So I went and got in shape. I never was going to be the muscle down dude. I mean, the muscle bound dude, but at least I was in better shape. And I ended up meeting my ex. That's what happened to me. Renegade One wasn't lucky like that. Unfortunately, he had people that just wanted him to wallow in that self pity because they were wallowing in it. They were celebrating it. We, as the subscribers to these people, we can't allow as much as we can allow our favorite YouTubers to just wallow in their pain and sorrow. Even if we are feeling the same pain, we have to at least reach out to them and try to help them. Because maybe in doing so, we help ourselves. I'm not telling you you have to like the manosphere. I'm not telling you you have to like black women or anything like this. But when you see someone suffering and you see someone that's clearly in pain, clearly have this hatred and bitterness towards a group of people, at least try to talk to them in the background and see if they're okay. I'm not saying it would have worked. I don't know if I believe in destiny, but maybe this was something that was meant to happen. But I like to think if someone probably would have reached out to him, more people would have reached out to him. Maybe, just maybe, it would have made somewhat of a difference. I like to implore people in the Black manosphere. I like to employ people in the Ebony Star Network. I like to employ people in these groups. I like to employ people who are against the Black manosphere. I like to employ the people who are against Black women, the Black woman sphere, Manosphere 3.0, all these groups in this Black YouTube space, and even the social media. If you have someone that you truly like, you truly enjoy the message, but you see that something's not right with them, try to talk to them. Don't just enjoy the message because you have a hatred towards a gender or a group. Actually sit back and watch this particular person. See if they're truly a soldier or a broken person, just on the edge. Because I understand we need spokespersons for our message. But what good is that spokesperson if they kill themselves? What does that say about us, the subscribers? If you see somebody who is suffering, and you can tell they're suffering, don't just enjoy the message. Talk to this person. See where their mind at. Because who knows? You might be the person that can help them to go off the edge. Shouts out to D Durrell for visiting for a bit. But like I said, if you're fans of these people, watch these people, talk to these people, see if they might need someone just to talk to. They might need somebody to tell them, hey, it's okay, you're not alone. Some of us is not as lucky that I was, or will be as lucky as I was, to pull out of that dark place in our hearts. Some of us will just lay it down. And especially troubling for black men because We have enemies everywhere. If it's not our women, our men, society, sometimes we feel like the world is against us. And we're supposed to fit a certain narrative that has been placed on us by others. We're supposed to serve others, but we don't talk about serving ourselves. You got some guys who tell you you're supposed to serve women. You're supposed to either be a rapper or this athlete. You either treat women like queens and goddesses, or you treat them like hoes and sluts. That if you don't have all this money, you are worthless. If you can't get all these women, you are worthless. So it's either you rage out against everybody or you put it internally. And unfortunately, we have fans who feel the same way and they support it. Meanwhile, you're just drowning and you're not getting no help. So I employ the subscribers of these people that you like to listen to, you talk to on these panels. If you see these people suffering, and if you see these people, you know that something's not right. You know, don't ignore it. Don't let your pain and anger towards a certain group blind you to the fact of the people that is supposed to put out your message is suffering, is in pain. Reach out to them. You ain't got to do it in public. You can reach out in the back chat on the StreamYard. You could reach out through email. You could reach out through YouTube. Nobody has to see it. But please, if anything else, do something. Because if you don't, we're going to have more Renegade ones. We're going to have more people just drowning in their pain and sorrow. And nobody's going to be there to help them. Because, you know, we're too busy in our pain and sorrow. We don't see the others. There are soldiers in the fight against certain people. And we don't care if they just die off. Well, maybe you don't care. That's fine. But it just shows to me that YouTube is really not a place for healing. It's just a place for people to share their pain, but not heal from their pain. It's a place where we can attack other people because we're sad and angry and bitter. Instead of it being a place where we can heal and we can figure out some things that we could do in our lives to make it better. I like to think that if we had these platforms, that if we see someone and we know that they're suffering from something, that we try to help them. And that's why I would employ the people, the Black Manosphere, the Ebony Star Network, the B1s, the Manosphere 3.0, 7.0, whatever group that you're part of. Take the time to really look at the people that you listen to. Just listen to them. Take that time out to really listen to them and see what's really going on. You may have that kind word. You may be the ear that they need to get them out of their funk, to get them out of that dark place. Don't think because they're on YouTube that they got it all together. Sometimes, well, many times, it's a lot of broken people talking. And they just need somebody to care, somebody to be a kind word, someone to actually at least seem like they care. Some of these people don't need a yes man. They need somebody to say, look, I understand your pain. I understand you went through something, but this ain't the end. You could do better. Let me help you. Or I know we're both suffering from this pain, this anger, this bitterness, but we can get through this together. We'll go find somebody to help us. Like I said earlier, if I got into my fee-fees a bit, there's a lot of things against us, especially black men. And we need each other more than anybody. So let's be that kind word. Let us be that welcoming hand to try to help these people. At the very least, try. Not saying it will work, but at least try. So we at least try to prevent more suicides, like a Renegade X, a Renegade One. And with that, I'm going to leave you. Thank you for listening. Shouts out to D Darrell for checking me out for a bit. And if you're checking it out on the replay, thank you very much. And just take my words to heart. This is not to diss anybody. This is not to shame subscribers to people. This is just my thoughts on Renegade One. And that I like to think that if we have people who are subscribers, that we as content creators can come to you for help, just like you come to us for help. Thank y'all very much, and y'all have a good Sunday or whenever you're listening to this. Peace.